Let's rock, baby.
Devil May Cry, one of PlayStation 2's greatest hits. Unfortunately, for me, I didn't get a chance to play it in its heyday, because when the time it came out, I was 4 years old. So, here we are now. The game came out in 2001 and was directed and created by Hideki Kamiya and Team Little Devil. Shoutouts to them. The game was originally supposed to be Resident Evil 4, but apparently it was too demonic and edgy, which is saying something considering what Resident Evil 4 eventually turned into. Nonetheless, it created a whole new world for everybody to play in, and it was a great decision. The game starts off with the exposition about how the great demon Sparta saved the world from another demon named Mundus. Cool. Sparta had a kid, actually had two of them. One of them being Dante, last name, because we don't know it. Game opens up with some random chick driving a whole ass motorcycle through my boy's establishment, then proceeds to run him to fade, only to then get reverse faded, and then to say, hey, I was just testing you, had to make sure you was the real deal. Alright. She proceeds to say, hey, I need your help for this mission. The guy named Mundus, I know you know who that is. He coming back, and he coming with the whole underworld. Not to the sides. I bet. Let's go handle him. I've been waiting. And that's where we get into the game. As I stated before, I didn't get to play the game when it first came out because, number one, my young brain wouldn't have been able to process what was going on, and number two, my mom was not letting me play no game about demons at the age of 4. Rightfully so. The game's Resident Evil roots immediately show when you have to gather material to open doors. And I'm not mad at it, but at the same time, it got old quick. But that's okay. This further leads on into the game where you start fighting enemies. And this is where the game shines, because the combat is pretty solid. And full disclosure, for whatever reason, I ended up playing on easy mode, and I know, you ain't getting the full experience by playing on easy mode, but I couldn't change it back at the time, and I was just like, it is what it is. I'll play the game again eventually. But even as playing on easy mode, combat still felt pretty good. The game was challenging enough for me to have a good time. Yeah, like I said, the combat is where the game shines, because it gives you such rewarding feelings when you start building up that combo and it starts saying you're getting stylish on boys. Yeah, you know the feeling. And I'm only hoping that that feeling gets even better as you progress through the different games. But we'll get to that. The game boasts different weapons with their own movesets. My personal favorite, Ifrit gauntlets and the grenade launcher. When you first get the Alistair blade, you also get access to your double trigger, which is essentially Dante on steroids, cause that boy be going stupid. After you unlock the Alistair blade, you immediately start doing more pieces of the puzzle quest until you progress to the cathedral, where you get your lion crest to progress further. This is also where you get introduced to your first boss battle.
Surprise. I hope for your sake you got something inside that big body of yours.
After you whoop some of that phantom spider ass, pause, he runs off like a little bitch. And you're like, alright, cool. Let me go use this lion crest. Up, what? Nah, he's in the hallway. Now you gotta run from him while he's blasting fireballs up your ass. Once again, pause. You escape him, go back to the courtyard, use the lion crest, be about your business. After you use your lion crest, you further progress into another room where you eventually come across the melancholy soul and a mirror. That mirror is important. After you unlock the melancholy soul, you then encounter another boss battle, and this guy ain't no joke. So much so that even Dante acknowledges that somebody here got some guts. After you finish your little run-in with him, he beats your ass and then looks at your crest and is like, whoa, then runs away. We gonna find him later. Progress a little bit further. Oh, what's this? Phantom's back. This time, we whooping his ass for good. Because after we beat his ass, he falls through the ceiling and gets impaled. Finally, we're done with somebody. And we finally move out of the castle and we progress to the next leg of the game. This next leg of the game is where we pick up the Ifrit gauntlets, and we also have to fight Griffin. Griffin was getting fucked up by me. After you beat Griffin, you somehow stumble upon a pirate ship. And this is my least favorite part of the game, because this underwater combat is the worst. First off, why is it inverted controls? Second, when you go to shoot somebody, they take so many shots to kill, and it's just like, why am I doing this? And it's not that bad because they don't do a lot of damage to you either, but it's just like, why am I doing this? Why is this taking so long? And you don't have a choice because you gotta kill them to get out of this room. I digress. On this pirate ship, you also encounter Griffin for the second time. No sweat. You further progress along, you find an open courtyard, and this is where your final battle with Griffin begins. This time, he came swinging. After you beat Griffin, you basically sacrifice him. And then his own boss, Mundus, decides, you failed me, get him out of here. Even Dante wasn't rocking with that one. We further progress along in our journey to whoop Mundus' ass, and we wind up somehow fighting a dragon skeleton that shoots fireballs at me for some reason. And then after that, we stumble further along. Oh, what's this? Our masked friend is back. This time, he ain't effing around. I would also like to note that even on easy mode, this fight wasn't overly difficult, but it made me realize on Dante Must Die, this dude is the shit. After you beat him, he drops an amulet that is very similar to the one Dante has. Coincidence? I think not. After all that, we backtrack back to the room where Homeboy first appeared. Then we go into the mirror world. And this is where the game starts concluding itself. We go to the mirror world, collect the Philosopher's Stone, fight a couple of dudes, come back out, and then we go to the underworld. This is the last leg of the race. Trudging our way through the underworld, we gotta fight this guy named Nightmare. Oh yeah, he's also a boss. This is our third time fighting him too. Yeah, oh look, over there. It's Trish. Where have you been the whole time? Don't sweat it, girl, I got you. Oh, what's this? You're double crossing me? Big surprise. It is also at this point where I realized the voice acting and the cutscenes were not the best. Cause listen to this, bro.
Dante! Dante, why did you save my life?
Because you look like my mother. Now get out of my sight. The next time we meet, it won't be like this.
Dante!
Don't come any closer, you devil! You may look like my mother, but you're nowhere close to her. You have no soul. You have the face, but you'll never have her fire!
I don't even think this is the worst cutscene. Just wait. After Dante tells off Trish, it's time to play. After Dante tells off Trish, he walks off, and this is where we finally get to Mundus. And I mean, this boss battle wasn't the worst that I've ever had, but it wasn't that great either. Cause the first phase, I'm playing Battlestar Galactica, and then after the first phase, now he's surrounded by lava. But hey, he's on the ground now. Oh wait, floating platforms, my favorite. And he don't make it no easier to hit his ass, because as you're trying to hit him, he's throwing platforms up, throwing fucking random ass balls in the way. Pause. And he just doesn't make it easy. It's not difficult, like I said, easy mode, but it just drags the fight on, honestly. But you eventually beat Mundus, and you think you're done. Sadly, so is Trish. Or so we thought. Oh, this is also where that worst cutscene comes into play, but you be the judge on that one.
You too. I should have saved you.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
So after Dante says his goodbyes to Trish, oh, we gotta escape the island. This bitch about to blow. Oh, what's this? Mundus isn't dead? Big surprise. Oh, look, who also isn't dead? Trish. What the fuck is going on here? Doesn't anybody die? Anyway, we have one last hurrah. Fighting Mundus. We get all super powered up from Trish. And he hits his famous
Jackpot.
After finally defeating Mundus, Trish and Dante start embracing themselves, which makes no sense to me because you met this chick literally a day ago and she tried to kill you twice. And now y'all are embracing each other. And I just feel like this relationship progressed too fast. I digress. Once again, island's about to blow up. How are we gonna get out? We're trapped underground. Boom! Helicopter. What? Don't make no sense, do it? Didn't to me. But hey, that is what it is. Somehow this helicopter is fully functioning and gets us off this island before it blows up. And our two heroes ride out into the sunset. That's the end of the game. Overall, I understand where the hype for this game came from, and once again, even for me playing on easy mode, I'll eventually play on the hardest difficulty, but in order for me to have done that this time, I would have had to play the game 3 times, and I just wasn't feeling all that. But whenever I get to Devil May Cry 3, I will play it on Dante Must Die. I will say that this game partially made me understand why it was so loved. From the flashy combos, even for it being the first iteration and being limited to what you can and can't do, it was still pretty flashy. You still got that dopamine hit when you flex on all the enemies, get that stylish on the top right of your screen. You're doing good, and then at the end of the mission you get that S across your shit. I didn't get a lot of S's, but that's okay. Overall, you just feel the dedication that Team Little Devil put into this game, and I can appreciate it, even for someone that didn't get to play it when it first came out. I still see the dedication, the care, and the little details, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just the small things. Overall, if I had to rate the game from an outsider's perspective, I'd give it about a 7.5. It's not great. It's not perfect. But it is a good time. And if you stuck around to the end through all of my nonsense, I appreciate it. I really do. Because I put a lot of effort into this. Someone to sit and listen to me talk shit, I appreciate it. Thank you.